Homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to Master Sakya, the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Tarchi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today, the Tara Bodhisattva, green Tara, 21 Taras, and the white Tara. Sumo. Tantric Katso Tuten Siddhi. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, how do you do?
I still Shalage Hola amigo Te quiero mucho Sugoi Ichiban Kimochi Yumi Gabi Purimpiri Konnichiwa Shinza Come.
I would like to announce for next Sunday, January 23rd, Sunday at 3 p.m. There will be Mahabala Homa fire offering ceremony. The mantra
Om Mahabala Soha.
And the mantra to avert ghost.
Mahabala Hom Hom Pei. 大力金刚就是我们看到的这一尊。
And this is Mahabala here, as you can see at the Homa altar. This is the biggest one, extremely dignified. Every time you visualize Mahabala, you visualize this deity. This was offered by the Dokjen Center of Hong Kong, the Tantric chapter, and several of the big statues were offered by them to the Rainbow Temple. Mahabala looks very formidable, very magnificent. The one holding the divine duster, that's Golden Mother. The one holding the Vajra pole or staff. And then the one forming the wrathful mudra, and then above him. So 4 symbols on him. The one holding the duster is Golden Mother. How about the other 3? We've talked about it many times.
谁能够讲出另外那3个表征？
莲花童子、地藏王菩萨，
没有，
还有大力金刚本身。
一个是莲花童子，一个地藏王菩萨。
Padma Kumara, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva,
还有一个阿弥陀佛。
and Amitabha Buddha.
对呀、所以要记住啊。
So you should remember
它本身的这些表征，对它的形象。
the symbols
非常庄严的。所以
the special
是真佛中的
marks.
特聘的。
This deity is
特聘的。
this special great protector of Buddha school.
我们知道还有一尊护法是真佛中的，就是
And there's another protector who supports Buddha school, and that's Mariji. Mariji and Mahabala. They're all the especially hired for Buddha school. So you need to remember, if you always don't know, and so how about in the Q&A, how can I answer? You should understand. To be a Dharma teacher, you should understand. And then to be a Dharma master, you need to understand even more. A Dharma teacher or a referent should understand all the. If you understand all of the practice procedures, then you're a Dharma master. And for the referent, you should understand a lot of them too. So it shouldn't be that you do not answer my questions, but when you ask questions, I would answer. So that's not right. So if I ask, all of a sudden everybody becomes mute. That should not be. So this is especially assigned or hired for Buddha school. So Mahabala, specially appointed. So Mahabala and also Mahakala are both very powerful. And the mudras is subjugation mudra, which is also the wrathful mudra. Extremely ferocious. And today's Homa, we performed Tara. This one I did not ask, and you answered. That's fine too. Tara Bodhisattva, the green Tara. And Grandmaster has met Green Tara. When I went to visit Indonesia, I visited Borobudur and Yogyakarta. And there is a pagoda there in Jogja. And the main deity is Tara Bodhisattva or Green Tara. And we all know about Guru Adisha. From Sri Lanka, he boarded a ship to Indonesia and arrived at Jambi and met his Guru Serlingpa. So Guru Atisha learned bodhicitta generation at Guru Serlingpa's place, primarily how to generate bodhicitta, and also learned the Dharma practice of Green Tara and many others that were transmitted by Guru Serlingpa. He followed Atisha followed Guru Serlingpa for 12 years before he returned to India. And then he was appointed to go to Tibet to spread Buddhism there. And lastly, at a place near Lhasa, he passed away. He wanted to return to India. However, there was a war around in the Nepal area, so he could not return to India and continued to stay in Tibet until he passed away. And we know about the Venerable Guru Atisha. In his spiritual cultivation, his yidam was Tara. The patriarchs of Madhyamaka, Nagarjuna Bodhisattva, also gained spiritual response, a spiritual union with Green Tara. And Guru Padmasambhava too also practiced Tara. That's Shingamukha. The lion-faced Dakini. That's the yidam for Guru Padmasambhava. They all practice Tara and gain spiritual unions. Many lineage gurus practice Tara, including the 16th Karmapa. That in the daytime he practiced Tara and at night he practiced Protector Mahakala. Mahakala, the protector of Kakyupa. I personally asked His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, what do you practice in the daytime? Tara, Green Tara, he answered. Green Tara and White Tara are both emanations of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was compassionate toward the sentient beings of the 6 rebirth realms and dropped 2 teardrops, one transforming into Green Tara, the other one into White Tara. Shed 2 teardrops. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Green Tara and White Tara are extremely compassionate. If you practice their Dharma practices and you have them as your yidam, it would be very easy for you to gain spiritual union. Once you gain spiritual union with Green Tara or the Tara Bodhisattva, naturally you would gain spiritual union with Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Once you gain spiritual union with Avalokitesvara, then it would be easy to gain spiritual union with Amitabha Buddha and Mahastama Prapta Bodhisattva. And Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva is also a Dharma prince. Once you gain spiritual unions with the Dharma prince, then of course you would gain spiritual union with all the Bodhisattvas and you would gain spiritual response or union with the 8 great bodhisattvas, and thereafter with all the bodhisattvas. So this is a very good dharma. The Taras dharma practice. They are extremely compassionate. Just now when I got here, before I stepped down to invoke Green Tara, I just arrived and I paid respect to Green Tara. Immediately, she and I were in spiritual union. In Japanese called Aishatsu. It's like greeted me. In the past, every time I came, typically after I step down and then in front of the Homa burner, I would invoke them before they descend. But this time, when I got off the car and I walked in front of her and I joined my palms and she greeted me already. Very close, very intimate. The first time this happened, before even lighting the fire, just with the palms joined, she greeted me already. So that means the response is extremely fast, very swift. And the 21 Taras also related to the Green Tara. Like for the pandemic, we have the Tara who dispels epidemic, which is one of the 21 Taras. So 21 Taras are eradicating all the different disasters and calamities in the world. And Green Tara, she can be in Sukhavati, the Western realm of Atmos bliss, which is one of Green Tara's pure lands, and then also the Mount Bhutaloka. That's also her pure land, and her special pure land is the jade leaves magnificent pure land. So in Sukhavati there is a pure land for Green Tara. So she is also in Amitabha Buddha's realm. And then Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva's pure land, Buddhaloka mountain, is also her pure land. And then also her own special pure land, jade leaves, magnificent pure land. So you should cherish your affinity with Green Tara. I visited her pagoda, Candi Kalasan in Indonesia, near Yogyakarta. The precious pagoda. Let me share a joke. The customer asked the boss, how come the cockroach insect killer medicine killer doesn't work? But how come there are many more cockroaches around? And the seller replied, well, if you disappear, won't your family come out to find you? So what he meant is because after we kill a few, all their families come out to look for them. So it sounded reasonable. In the journey to the west, the monk Tang was very meticulous. So when he was tidying up underwears, like for the Monkey King, there was a hole. So he sewed it up, and then the next day there's another hole, and then he fixed it again, and then the next day there's a hole again, and then before he sewed it up again, this time the Monkey King said, "But Guru, if you patch the hole, where would my tail be?" In this story, if you secretly do for other people and not necessarily accepted by everybody, but still you want to give or to serve, well, but doesn't matter if they accept it or not. Maybe there would be some outside your expectation. The kid asked the grandpa, the book said that human life starts at 70s. What does it start? And the grandpa said, starting to have arthritis, diabetes, stroke, losing your teeth. So age does not lie to you, but there is an exception. There is a surprise.
现在呢，进入你问我。
Now we will do the question and answer. You ask and I answer. Asked by Lian Hua Zhen Hu from Indonesia. He just laughed, and this is his question. Homage to the lineage Guru, living Buddha Lian Sheng. 1. On February 15 to 16, 1997, that was the first time you transmitted the Dharma practice of the white Jambala riding on a dragon. And you repeatedly reminded us not to throw away the bath water but after practicing so many times, we have so many bath water, and after keeping it for so long, it becomes undesirable. And then what should we do about them? They would start to smell and everything. And if we cannot throw them away, what should we do with it? So I reminded not to throw them away. But he said that after practicing many times, so he must have practiced a lot. So how should we handle the bath water after the practice? So after collect so many, then you can use it to bathe and then throw them out. That's the answer At that time, I did not think that much. So the white Jambala was transmitted at the Marymore Park by the Seattle Lizang Temple in 1997. And there was Chikmeg Rinpoche who attended, who visited us, and together with us performed the white Jambala Dharma ceremony. That was an outdoor ceremony. That was the first question. The second question, if a practitioner has received the empowerment for Yamantaka, but they have not received empowerments for the third level empowerments, so are they allowed to perform the Vajra chanting practice of Yamantaka? Because only those who receive the third level empowerment is able to perform the mantra chanting of Yamantaka. That is not the case. It is extremely difficult to receive the third level empowerment because the requirements are, first you have to attain non-leaking, non-leakage, and you also have to have gained enlightenment and see the path and to comprehend empty nature and non-leaking in order to receive the third level empowerment. So after receiving empowerment for Yamantaka, you are allowed to perform the Vajra chanting or the mantra chanting practice of Yamantaka. That is allowed. Third question. So a pregnant woman is taking refuge in the True Buddha school or receive empowerments. Does that mean that the fetus in the womb also have taken refuge and received the empowerments? Oh, he thinks too much. So it's okay. Let the baby is born first and then take refuge. So it's not that the woman, the pregnant woman, receive refuge initiation and then the fetus in the womb too. That's not the case. Otherwise, all the germs on your body also have received the empowerment, right? So we cannot say that. If that's the case, if it's according to what you said, then all the eggs and the semen of the man all have received empowerments. That's not right. That was the third question from Lien Hoa Zhen Fu and my answers. And the next question from Hong Kong. And he's called Lien Xia. Strange name. Strange name. And that's how you write the character. This is the one who draw Buddhist images. Grandmaster, I live in Hong Kong, and at my residence it's impossible to get the the rootless water at the Dragon Festival, which is the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. And because it is inside the city, there is also no wells or springs water. So is it possible? So we have not been able to get those rootless water for over a decade. So is it possible if you use dehumidifier, the dehumidifier would collect the vapors and then would collect them into water, and the water would have never touched the ground, so that is also rootless, right? Would that be allowed? So for decades in Hong Kong, it had never rained on the Dragon Festivals. That's so strange. Hong Kong is so close to Taiwan. It never rained on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month there. I think the Buddha and Bodhisattva won't answer either, because during the eras of those Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they have no dehumidifier. But maybe I'll ask. So Dragon Boat festivals at noon we turn on the dehumidifier and let it collect the vapor from the air and make it into water, and that is considered a rootless water. Rootless, the water that has never touched the ground.
Wow.
So the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas give us special permission and consider such water as the rootless water. So at noon, so from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month, you can turn on the dehumidifier, and whatever water it collects, that would can be used as the root water without root. So it's such an technologically advanced era nowadays. The teacher asked Xiaoming, why do human beings need air? And Xiaoming replied, to get the breath of air. And the teacher asked again, then why do you expel the air? It's to let out some actually it's idiom. It's like to let something that you don't like out. So the best kind of friendship is a couple. And the more you are married, the purer the friendship is. So pure that you can sleep together under one blanket and you have no feeling whatsoever. Also pure that even if you're totally naked, they wouldn't even look at each other. Or it's so pure that both are totally naked and the heart doesn't doesn't change at all. The heartbeat doesn't change at all. Because if it doesn't beat at all, then he would die. So even when both people are completely naked, there's no racing heartbeat. That's very frank. It's very true. That Grandmaster in the past, I took. I was in a car, and with my girlfriend sitting in front of me, and her knees touched my knees. That I could not even. I didn't even remember what was in the movie afterwards. Before marriage, that's how it is. But once you're married, especially after a long time, that would be a pure sleep. A reporter asked a couple. The reporter asked, "Auntie, what is your new what is your a strong belief between you and your husband?" And I don't believe that money. No. That money is not all capable. Why is that? It's because it's the name of my kid. It's play of word. Okay, now we'll talk about the Vajra Sutra. If there be a person who can uphold, recite, and extensively expound it, he will be recognized and known by the Tathagata, and he will attain immeasurable, incalculable, infinite, and inconceivable merits. This person would bear the Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi of the Tathagata. Why? Subhuti? Because a practitioner of the small vehicle who holds a view of self, a view of others, a view of sentient beings, and a view of lifespan cannot listen, uphold, recite, nor expound this sutra. Let's talk about this first. If there be a person who can uphold, recite, and extensively expound it, he will be recognized and known by the Tathagata, and he will attain immeasurable, incalculable, infinite, and inconceivable merits. This person would bear the Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi of the Tathagata. Why? Subhuti, because a practitioner of the small vehicle who holds a view of self, a view of others, a view of sentient beings, and a view of lifespan, will not be able to listen, uphold, recite, nor expound the sutra. In our school, I did not talk about the Vajra Sutra before. Why? Because there was a master who wanted to expound the Vajra Sutra. So the Venerable Elder Le Guo gave me a book on his commentaries of the Vajra Sutra, and I gave that book to this master who wanted to expound on the Vajra Sutra. So I let her talk about it. But then later on, people asked me to expound on the Vajra Sutra. And the Vajra Sutra is the ultimate sutra, Liao Yi. So what is the ultimate? The Dharma spoken by the Buddha include the ultimate and then the worldly, or the non-ultimate Dharma. The ultimate Dharma is for enlightenment, and the non-ultimate is to be human beings, or the worldly Dharma, or to go to heavens, the heavenly realms. Those are non-ultimate. Sakyamuni Buddha had spoken on many sutras which are not the ultimate. But the Vajra Sutra is the ultimate sutra, the Heart Sutra too. And the Mahaprajna Paramita Sutra is also the ultimate sutra, and many other sutras too. So they are both ultimate and non-ultimate sutras. The non-ultimate sutras are before seeing the path, but the ultimate ones are after seeing the path. So in order to be able to expound on the sutra, it can only be spoken by those who have seen the path, or who have seen the way, the Tao. Otherwise, it's just a very superficial talk. It would not be able to touch the key essence or the essential meaning of the sutra. So, read and recite. Everybody can read and recite or write, but upholding it is not difficult. It's not easy then. So the key is on the uphold, and you accept the meanings, and then you can uphold these essential meanings. Like I said yesterday, do you still have temper? You do. Do you still have habitual tendencies? You do. But since you understand the Vajra Sutra, and you know the essential meaning of the Vajra Sutra, then you are not able to, however, you are not able to uphold it, although you accept it, because your habitual tendencies are still there. Therefore, you have to gradually diminish your habitual tendencies. So upholding requires that you diminish your habitual tendencies as a human being, like greed, anger, delusion, doubt, pride, jealousy, envy. Those are all human nature or habitual tendencies. If you don't eradicate them, then you will not be able to uphold it. If you still have temper, or you still hate, oh, I can be tolerant of everybody else except that one. So that means you still have hatred. That means you still have self. So since you still have self, then you cannot apply the no self or the non-phenomena of self. it is extremely difficult to be able to apply the non-phenomena of self. Therefore, that's why it is called the ultimate. If you can do the ultimate, then you would reach the four sagely realms. It's the same. Then you are the sage. Upholding, reciting, and if you're able to expound it to many people, then Sakyamuni Buddha and all the Buddhas would know this person. Why? Because Buddhas know other Buddhas. Whatever realm you have reached, the Buddhas would know. How could they not? If you have, the Buddhas would know if you reach that state. Then of course the Buddha would recognize this person, would be able to see and know. They understand you because Buddhas know each other. So at this time we can say that this person will attain immeasurable, incalculable, infinite and inconceivable merits. It is a boundless and infinite, not talking about the merits. So this person is a sage already. So you need to cultivate spiritually until you see the path, and then you still have to practice the path, which is in Tantric Buddhism. You have to visualize, chant the mantra, form the mudra, enter samadhi. Actually, Tantric spiritual cultivation is also very good. By visualization, your mind is purified. By chanting the mantra, your speech is purified. By forming the mudras, your body is purified. And the body, speech and mind are purified. So, even in the Saha world, whatever you do, you can visualize, form the mudra and chant the mantra. Then you are pure. Doesn't matter what you do. You can visualize, chant mantra and form the mudra. You can. So that's the benefit of Tantric Buddhism. So the purified body, speech and mind, that's transforming the three karma into three secrets. In Tantrayana, you use visualization. What do you visualize? You visualize the eyes of the Buddha or Tathagata, the eyebrows of the Tathagata, his ears, his mouth. You can visualize them, and it would constitute an image of a Tathagata. When you visualize, you're in concentration. You will not think of other things. That means your mind is pure. And your mouth is chanting the mantra. That's the purity of the speech. And your hands or your body form mudra, then your body is purified. And that's a method to purify body, speech and mind. That's a spiritual cultivation method. And the same in whatever you do. Even when a couple is in union to do that good thing, the bedroom matter of the couple, if you can visualize, chant the mantra and form the mudra, then the Tathagata will recognize and will know this person. The Buddha knows, you know. So what is the consort practice in Tantric Buddhism? It's been defamed by other religious sects. How could they call that practice? But in the consort practice, it's specified how to visualize, how to chant the mantra, how to form the mudra. So you change that thing into a Dharma practice. It's as simple as that. It's also pure. But the worldly people cannot understand, so they slander the consort practice of Tantric Buddhism. Actually, they just make it into a spiritual cultivation. So you can practice in the daytime, practice at night, practice in your dream, in your sleep. So Tantric Buddhist practices are different than other Dharma practices. So that's why it's said here that Sakyamuni Buddha would know and see this person. And this person is allowed to do anything, because whatever he does, it would comply with the Buddha Dharma. Whatever he does complies with the Buddha Dharma. So at this time, that he would bear the Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi of the Tathagata, and that is the Tao, or the way, or the path. So he bear or carry the responsibility of all the Tao. And of course, it attains immeasurable, incalculable, infinite, and inconceivable merits. That realm has no borders, has no limits. The realm of no self has no limits. It's immeasurable, cannot be measured. Incalculable or inexplicable, cannot be spoken, and infinite, limitless, of course. Since it is the non-phenomena of self, of course it has no limits. Like a solar system is only a one small thousand world. So 3,000 small thousand world is one's medium thousand world. And then 3,000 medium thousand world is the one great thousand world. And then 3,000 of them. That's huge. But his is limitless, infinite. So the merits of Vajra Sutra is extremely enormous. This is the ultimate sutra. or the Sutra for the ultimate enlightenment. So the Buddha told Subhuti, because a practitioner of the small vehicle who holds a view of self, a view of others, a view of sentient beings, and a view of lifespan will not be able to listen, uphold, recite, nor expound the Sutra. So a person who has or who still holds the notion of self or has a view of self, the sentient beings and lifespan, they will not be able to accept the sutra or recite it or explain it to others, because he himself has not reached that realm. So if someone is greedy towards money, that's the view of self, that's greed. Or if you like lust or sensualities, that's also greed or desire. Confucius said, food and looks are human nature, are their habitual tendencies. So desire for wealth, looks, food, name, and sleep. So we have to decrease or diminish those habitual tendencies. Today at lunchtime I said, oh well, let it be. What is it? Get master in Taiwan. When I spent half a year in Taiwan, half a year in America for a period of 10 years. So I have a home there in Taiwan. I had 3 homes, 4 homes. And Sumo had 2. So we had 6 homes in Taiwan. And we're both old already, and the pandemic is such as this. If we want to go home to our Taiwan home, we have to be quarantined for so long, and we have some stuffs at those homes. Things in Chinese is East and West. So they're valuable stuffs. And these homes were not rented. Each house is worth some money. 2 of them are tiny. But they're all money, right? Although they are tiny apartments, but they're still money. And things that's inside the houses are also money. Then what should we do? And Sumu's health is like that. And Grandmaster is still fine. However, it is unpredictable. The weather and for the human beings, you never know when impermanence will happen. I may know a little bit because the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas leak some hints to me. If I were just an ordinary being, I would be worried. After the Chinese New Year, according to Taiwanese calendar, I would be 78. That would be almost 80. What should I do? How about my Taiwanese houses and the stuffs in them? Just let them be. Whoever they will belong to in the future, let them have them. I take it very lightly. There are things, stuffs, but it doesn't matter. What if they're stolen? It's okay. If it's not used by you, it's used by someone else. How about if you're being robbed? If people try to rob your outer coats, you also give them your underwear. That's how Grandmaster thinks. Very at peace, at ease. Yes, don't worry. It's fine. Why? Because they don't belong to me. I cannot use them. They don't get used by me. How about my houses in America? I have 2 houses. One is the Tantric quarter, and then the other one, the South Mountain Retreat. Just these 2 houses. I also have some stuffs in them. You hide them, no need. If they are missing, fine. If someone wants them, let them take them. They are not yours. Even your physical body is not yours, do you know? No self. Even I does not belong to me. Let alone those things. Let them be. So if we are open-minded and take things lightly, this is how we think. Nothing is important for us except the Tao. Once you attain the Tao, then you can go back to the Tathagata's home. That would be an everlasting home. The rest are all fake or false. Someone asked a question called Lian Xia. That everything in this world is blind. Everybody is blind except you, the clear-minded one, that you can be seen and known by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Only you are clear-minded or clear-sighted, and you're not attached to all your wealth, houses, cars, your assets, including your own bodies. They are not yours. Only the Tao, the path to go back home, to go back to the Tathagata. Only that is real. Only this kind of person can expound on the Vajra Sutra. But if you still have greed, anger, delusion, doubt, pride, you're still jealous or envious or hateful, and you still have the narrow-minded love, then you would not be able to find your way back home. So, therefore, it's said very clearly here you bear the career or the job of the Tathagata. However, if you're a practitioner of the small vehicle who holds, grabs, or has, or is attached to self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, you will not be able to uphold, or most importantly, to expound this sutra to other people. You would not be able to expound. Why did I wait until this age, this old age, before I expound on the Vajra Sutra? Is because you need to be very clearly and concisely comprehend the Vajra Sutra before you can expound it. Since Grandmaster is taking everything lightly and being so open-minded, then we don't need to make offering to Grandmaster anymore. But let me tell you, it's necessary. It's still necessary. Do you know what this is? How should I put it? You are following your affinities. And Grandmaster also states that it's voluntary. You just do it according to wishes. Tathagatas is one of the epithet is called should be offered. So Grandmaster still has physical body and he still needs to eat. He still have to fill in the gas in the cars, and in Taiwan still has to buy water and to buy gas.
I buy water. In United States, I buy gas. Gas station, I buy gas.
That's right.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, I eat. 还要吃饭。
I still need to eat.
那还要生活。
I still need to live.
虽然师尊的食衣住行，
although my daily necessities are mostly offered by other people, but Grandmaster also has no attachments. If I still have attachment, I would say that the Rainbow Villa was built by Grandmaster and Simu. Right? It was my money. And Master Lian Si got the construction workers to build the Rainbow Villa. That was my money that built it. And now you're having ceremonies here, etc. She said it's Grandmaster's. But let me tell you, that's not how I think. The Rainbow Temple does not have Grandmaster's name or Simu's name. So they're all under your names. So it's just being used to do Dharma work, Dharma ceremonies, to deliver sentient beings. And I had gone back to Taiwan for 10 years. And before then, the Taiwan Leizang Temple could not finish its construction. The steel rods were rusting and they could not finish it. So for that 10-year period, I helped Taiwan Lizang Temple to complete their construction. And now they built the administrative building. The 7th floor administrative building. They have enough money to build that now. Even that too. So after they finish this development, then Taiwan Lizang Temple will not have much money left. Master Lianze, was thinking about building an elderly home, a senior home, and he already submitted an application, but because Grandmaster does not return anymore, so he will not have enough money to complete that one. So I told Master Lianze, you just build with whatever money you have, don't force it. If you don't have money, then don't build the senior home. Although the permit has been granted after a difficult process, it's okay because you have no money. And you have built the administrative buildings. And Grandmaster is 78 already, and you want me to work another 10 years to help you build the senior home? But will I be able to live to be 88? But age is limited. My lifespan is limited. I will not be able to live that long. Sakyamuni Buddha only lived to be 80. And I'm 78 already. How many years left do I have? You should think for me. Please don't build the senior home by all means. Because if you do, then I feel big responsibility to have to go back and to spread the Dharma teachings. And the pandemic has to vanish first so that people can come. But Master Lianze, you should understand this concept. You should not just build it, then I would be dead. So you just do with whatever money you have. That's what I told Master Lianze, the abbot of the Taiwan Lizang Temple. Although the permit for the senior home is granted, just let it go for the time being. And you wait until you have money, then you can apply again for the permit. Although there is a time limitation, but as far as I know, they have no more money. They should not continue to build, and I cannot help from here. Here, just tiny little. Those are a lot of money for the administrative building. They all crying out is that like all the prices have gone up, all the building materials all gone up. So the developers complain because they lost money. They built for us and the prices of the materials have gone up. So Master Lianze, please just do based on your own ability. Don't force it. Just wait until I go back and then I will help you. Grandmaster is not for himself. It's for sentient beings, for the elderlies. That's why Grandmaster can expound on the Vajra Sutra. Because Grandmaster is not for himself, but those who are still for yourself or for themselves. You still have the notion of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, then this person will not be able to listen, uphold, recite, nor expound the sutra. This is the reason. The teacher asked Xiaoming, what is the difference between a frog and a toad? And Xiaoming said, the frogs looking up to the sky from the bottom of the well. That's negative thinking. But the toad loves to eat the meat of the swan, so that's positive thinking. So the toad is eating the coins, but the frogs become a dish. So it doesn't matter if you're ugly, but if you think beautifully. The key is in thinking beautifully. Okay, that's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.